Hello there. What's going on, everyone? Today I'm bringing to you my what to buy first when on a budget for the Separatists in Star Wars Legion. So if you are thinking about jumping into Star Wars Legion and you're looking to play Separatists, this is a good starting point. Now, before you get too deep into Star Wars Legion, you need to know that it's not a pre-painted, pre-assembled game. It is a tabletop miniatures war game. You're going to need sprue cutters, you're going to need glue, and all of that kind of stuff. This is a game where you're going to be assembling your minis and hopefully painting your minis and putting them all together, and then you're going to be challenging someone else. So in case you're a very, very newcomer to this game, I wanted to at least preface this with that, that exact stuff. So, but if you're past that and you're ready to start buying Legion product, this is the right place. So if you do like this video, also be sure to check out more of my content. I've got a lot of stuff for Legion as well as a lot of other Star Wars games, so stick around. Now, with that being said, the first thing you're going to need for like this, or from a lot of Star Wars games, is a core set. Your core set, there's two versions out right now. You're going to see one that has Darth Vader on the front, and you're going to see one that has Grievous on the front. And these are the big $100 boxes. Now, you can probably get it a little cheaper depending on when or where you buy it, but it's MSRP of $100. And that could be a little bit of a steep buy-in, but some people will tell you that's a lot cheaper than a lot of other miniature games as buy-in. Now, it's kind of a double-edged sword because while it is a little bit cheaper than other games, it can still be a lot for some, and I'm going to actually suggest you get two core sets. You're going to want the one that has Grievous on here because this one is going to have the clones and Separatists in there. These starters are not single faction starters. They are two faction starters. They're meant to be a two-player starter set, so that you and a friend can open up this box, assemble and glue all the minis together, and read the rulebook, start playing. So this is a good way to start with just one if you're really not sure. But if you're sure you want to play Separatists, I definitely would say get a second core set. You know, you can split core sets with a friend. If you and somebody else each buy a core set and they want to play clones and you want to play droids, that's a good way to go because you each spend $100. You get all of their droids, you give them all of your clones, and you guys are good to go. That's a great starting way to do it if you can. However, since this game's been out for a little while, you might not have the easiest time finding somebody to do that. And even if you can't, it's still a very, very good value to buy two core sets. So what do you get in a core set? Well, as a droid player, you're going to be running a lot of droids. So you're going to get lots of droids in this core set. One core set is going to give you 2 full units of B1 Battle Droids. These are big units. These are going to be a lot of assembly. Fingers are going to get tired of putting droids together. So give yourself time to get these put together. But you're going to get 2 full units of B1 Battle Droids. You're also going to get a unit of droidicas. This is a lot of plastic here, a lot of plastic, because the droidicas also come with the ball mode. They can transform between, well, not physically. You get 2 models. You get the assembled with the guns shooty, and then you also get the roly mode. And of course, I'm making up words for them. They're not called roly. I think they're called wheel mode, but roly shooty is a way more fun way to say it, and most people will know what you mean if you say that. That's what I say because it's fun. And yeah, of course, you're going to get General Grievous, who actually has a couple of different ways that you can assemble him. He's a really cool mini. You can have him with his cloak, without his cloak, 1 lightsaber, pistol, 4 lightsabers, maybe 3, like 1 arm with a single lightsaber, the other arm split into 2. There's a lot of customization here. And that adds to the value of actually getting a second one because maybe you want to build Grievous 2 different ways because he's got some small parts that might be pretty hard to magnetize, right? So you're getting all of that. Plus, you're getting a whole bunch of clone stuff, too, like the equivalent in clones. So just the minis alone, it's about $100 worth of stuff just for one faction. It's kind of close to it. But you add the fact that you're getting a second faction's worth of stuff way over your value. But we're not done there. You're also getting everything else you need to start playing. You're getting all your rules, your rule books. You're getting a lot of cardboard with your tokens and things like that. You're getting all the cards you need to play. Plus, you're going to get barricades. So you're actually going to get terrain in each starter. You're going to get barricades, which you can use for your first couple of games so you can learn a little bit about cover and how that works. Plus, barricades can be used on your more advanced games to act as scatter terrain. Barricades are a very good piece of scattered terrain that works really, really well with this game. I encourage you to use barricades in a lot of your games. A lot of times maybe people will get boxes or houses or 3D printed stuff or build terrain out of foam. Barricades work well with everything. So the barricades are good. They sell those individually. You're going to get range tools. The range tools are always going to break, so it's a good idea to have extra ones. You're going to get movement tools. Extra movement tools are always a good idea to have. You're going to get dice. You're going to definitely need more dice than what comes in the core set. You can always use the dice app on your phone too. That's definitely an option. But all of these individual expansions, if you were to buy them separately, it comes out to well over $200. So you're really getting a great value by getting all this bundled together in one core set. It's all hard plastic on a sprue. It's really good quality stuff also. You're going to love this stuff, and it's a really good value for what you're getting. So I definitely suggest getting 2, because a tournament game is 800 points. The game is balanced around the standard 800-point game. And a core set isn't really enough to get you there. It's about enough to get you about halfway there. So you really are going to need at least a second core set to get you closer to 800 points. Generally, if you're on a budget, what I will tell people is 2 core sets plus 1 more expansion will do it. Usually that's enough to do it for just about every faction in the game. So hopefully you're able to take my advice and get the 2 core sets. If not, if you can only get 1, and that might change things up a little bit, because if you can only get 1, maybe you're still in the learning phase. So I definitely suggest getting 2. So after that, after you kind of got a little bit of an army, maybe you've got 4 B1 Battle Droids now, 2 units of droidicas. You can't run 2 Grievouses, but you can have one as a spare. It's always good because sometimes things break. So maybe your first mini you're putting together, you screw it up and you drop a piece. I've had heads fall off and they bounce on the ground and I never find them again. So it's always nice having spares for all of that stuff. Now, what's next? Next up is going to be Darth Maul. I'm going to suggest jumping in and getting the man himself, Darth Maul, and Sith probe droids. This is a tremendous expansion. Darth Maul comes in. He is an operative. You won't have any operatives yet. He's going to fit into every build that you can possibly make. He's going to also help push you over that 800-point threshold to be able to get you a full-blown army. But, he's Darth freaking Maul. He is the coolest. I love Darth Maul. I have, at my store, we sell Darth Maul gator necks and masks and stuff like that. I love Darth Maul. So I admit, I'm a little biased here. Now, hey, if you don't like Darth Maul, ignore it. Don't get him. If there's something that you want and you're on a budget, your fun factor should trump all of my information here. Your enjoyment and what you really want, or your fandom, should trump my suggestions. So if you really want, the AAT tank first, even though it's expensive or whatever, you should get that first. Then you absolutely should. So this is really my opinion, and it's usually based on value, a combination of value and fun factor, and what you're really getting. And Darth Maul here is a great value and huge fun factor. Darth Maul is a super fun guy to play in this game. He is really, really cool, and he is super iconic. He look, some of you might say, hey, he wasn't really part of the Separatists, and I can understand that, but he was still kind of Separatist before they were Separatists. He did fight on the same side as the Trade Federation during episode 1, right? So he was kind of taking, he was kind of fighting in the same time we saw the B1 Battle Droids, and he was kind of on their side. It just makes sense to put him in here. But in addition to him being, weighted heavily, he's also a fairly cheap expansion. But you're also getting 2 units, because you're also getting Sith probe droids, a special forces unit of 3 Sith probe droids in this pack. Now they can only be run with Darth Maul, so you have to run them together. But you're getting 2 whole units in one pack. It's tremendous. It's tremendous value. And, it's just a great value. And I think Darth Maul is super awesome. So he gets extra bonus points for that. Next up, I'm going to suggest the B1 Battle Droids Upgrade Expansion. This one, now if you don't like Darth Maul, then maybe get this one first. This is going to give you a couple of different things. It's going to give you an extra B1 Battle Droid unit card that you can kind of use if you put all your extra minis that you're not using together or whatever. You can put them into getting an extra B1 Battle Droid unit. Although it only comes with 4 minis, and you need 6 B1 Battle Droid, minis to actually field it. So, you would have to, take some of the spare rocket droids or something from a different unit if you wanted to just run this as an extra B1 Battle Droid unit. But the strength of this particular pack is not just in that B1 Battle Droid unit that you can run. It's using all of the minis that come in here to augment your existing B1 battle droids. You're going to actually gain a lot of new build options for your existing B1s out of this. You're going to get 2 personnel, and you're going to get 2 heavy weapon options. You're going to get that rad gun, which is really cool. I really like that one. You're going to get some personnel that are going to give you extra ways to maneuver around the AI ability that the droids have. So just a lot of different build options this kind of brings in. And for this one expansion, you got four different minis. You can put them in 4 different units and have each unit behave differently than you had before. So this is really for one fairly cheap expansion. You're actually expanding your list building capability quite a bit, and this is superb for that purpose. Next up, I'm going to say the Separatist Specialists personnel expansion. This one is hugely important. Now, I will note that at the time of this coming out, it is not actually released yet, but we have a pretty good idea of what this is going to have. This is also going to have a lot of extra minis in here that can augment your existing units. The difference here is these are all for personnel upgrades, and so they don't have to go in B1 battle droids. They could also go into B2 super battle droids, which you will see later on this list. So they have a little bit wider variety on where they can go, but also you're going to get your T series droid. This can be his own unit. So he can be a leader for another unit, or he can lead your whole army by himself. You're going to have 2 different ways to run him. And this is maybe one of the most important things, because as your collection grows and you get these more and more expensive pieces in your army, having a cheap commander so you don't have to run the expensive General Grievous is going to be really, really important as an option. But the fact you get a lot of options in this pack, and it even further enhances your ability to build lists and change up the way you build squads based on what you already have. So great value here. It's also letting you do a lot more with what you have already, which is super cool. Next up, I'm going to suggest the BX series Droid Commandos. This is a super cool expansion pack. Very, very strong, and you're getting different types of units. You're getting a lot of versatility, a tremendous amount of versatility in one pack. You can build your little strike team, right? You can have like a little sniper and a strike team, or you can have a sniper and a full unit. You can have your little Dioxis grenade guy. You can have him in a strike team. You can have him in a full unit. You can try a little bit of both. You can build them with shields. You can build them without shields. You can build them with swords or without swords. Or you can't do swords and shields at the same time, though. So and then the minis have a ton of customizability here too. Now these guys are really, really cool. So you're getting a whole lot of versatility in one pack. I love this as an expansion pack. There's so many fun different ways to do this one. Putting these together, I mean, like this is a little bit more advanced of a hobbying faction though. So like if you're brand new to minis games, like, you're going to see some things in here. It's like, boy, do I magnetize this so I can take the sword off? Like there's some potential advanced techniques with doing stuff like this, but with a lot of the droids even. But just the mechanics of what you're getting in here is just such a very, very cool, very, very cool set. I absolutely love this expansion. And the BX droids are super cool. They're very, very good. They're very good. And it's another Special Forces, right? So that's cool. You probably already have the one if you picked up Darth Maul. If not, you won't have any Special Forces yet, and this might be your first. But they're really cool. And next up is we're kind of getting into the little bit more, like maybe those are the first couple you get. Now you play a little bit more. If you want a different commander option, Count Dooku is really cool. I would have at one point I would have had him much earlier. He came out kind of early for the Separatists, and he gave the Separatists a really, really strong commander. He's incredibly strong. He is very, very good, and he's a hard counter to a lot of very strong plays that you're likely to see. He's a great counter to some of Rex's really strong command cards and things like that. So just a really, really threatening guy. He's got his strengths and he's got his weaknesses. He's he's the most expensive commander that the Separatists have as far as game balance and points, his point cost in game. As far as dollar amount, he's single unit expansions are usually around the $20 price range, and you might even be able to find him cheaper than that depending on when and where you buy him. So he's not going to cost you a whole lot, but he's not giving you as much value at this point in the list, in my list, because you already have Grievous. And while Dooku is I would say better than Grievous in a lot of circumstances. Not in every situation, but he's better than Grievous in a lot of situations. He is not that different where it's like game breaking. And also, you know, if you're following my list, you might already have Darth Maul, and like, how many lightsabers do you really need? Well, for me, I need all of them. So, you know, like, I like to actually run Dooku and Grievous and Maul all together in the same list, which is really, really fun. But before Maul had come out, I would have put Dooku much sooner. But now that I've already got Maul, I'm like, maybe Dooku isn't as necessary because I am a big fan of Maul's. And again, a lot of this is my own personal preference. It's just my suggestions to you guys. Dooku is great, though. There's no question about that. The only reason I have him kind of in the middle of the list is just because, like, I think Maul gives you a better value. And then once you have Maul, you don't really need Dooku right away. Definitely, though, definitely get him at some point. You know, when you can afford it, definitely get Dooku because you're going to love him. He's great. I just don't think he needs to be your first, like, one of your first buys. There, and that's why he's in the middle. So hopefully you guys who are in love with Dooku don't crucify me over this. You know, I think he is great, and if he's your favorite person, then by all means get him first. But I think Maul gives you a better value and a little more versatility for the cost. Next up is the Stap Riders. You know, they're a little lower on the list, but they're definitely iconic and they're fast. They're zipping around the battlefield. They're very, very fast. They're kind of fragile, but they can put out some damage, and they give you something that the droidicas didn't give you, and that the droidicas move really slow unless they're in ball form, but they can't shoot, right? So it's like there's a little bit of a risk game with the droidicas. These guys are moving fast and shooting, and so that's fun. And plus, they're really recognizable. You know, they're very, very iconic in that aspect. I have them a little lower down on the list because, hey, they're a vehicle. Vehicles tend to be a little more expensive because you're getting a little more plastic. But also, I guess you're probably not really getting as much plastic as you get with a B1 Battle Droids unit. Or are you getting a ton in there? But also, you already have a support. Hopefully, you already have 2 supports. So you maybe don't need, you know, a 3rd support right away. Because if you bought the 2 core sets, you already have 2 units of droidicas. And the droidicas are cool. They are really, really cool. But then again, if you really liked the Battle of Naboo, you know, and you're just trying to recreate that, then maybe you guys get these guys sooner, you know. But I don't think they're that game breaking or that crucial. And honestly, for new players too, the compulsory move that's in here can be a little bit difficult and can be a little bit punishing. So maybe it's better to kind of hold off on running these until you're a little more comfortable with the game and the way everything moves. So Stap Riders kind of in the middle, on the middle of the list. B2 Super Battle Droids, kind of getting a little bit into the later purchases. Now, this is another thing. Maybe you love these guys and want to run them right away, and that is perfectly acceptable. I feel like it's another core option. I feel like you probably already have enough core to run most of your lists, and you might not need these guys right away. And so I put them a little bit later on. As your collection fills out and you're seeing more builds and stuff, maybe you want to experiment with trying a different core option that you can get the B2 Super Battle Droids. These guys are very different. They're actually a really cool type of core unit, but they're really suffer because they're only up to range 2 for most of their guns. They do have a heavy weapon guy that can shoot beyond range 2, but I mean, they're really like a close range core unit, and that tends to be somewhat difficult to run effectively in Star Wars Legion. So maybe they're a little more advanced for their playstyle. They also have a little bit of armor on them. They're a little tough. They're very kind of like a tanky type of unit, which they need to be if they're going to, like, you know, try to march towards you and to get close enough distance to actually be able to shoot you. If they can get up close, they're very, very powerful. But the trick is trying to get them up close. And you know, so I feel like they're a little bit more of an advanced playstyle and maybe not as needed because the B1s, you hopefully already have quite a few B1s. Now, if maybe you're doing things differently and you only want to buy 1 core set, then this could be maybe your second purchase to get you that 3rd core option, something like that. It certainly works. If you've got all the other stuff already, like their personnel expansion, you're going to get new guys that can go in here, or new droids, I should say, that can go in here and might augment your B2 Super Battle Droid list building capability a little bit. They're all right. I don't think they need to be one of your first buys. Next up is Cad Bane. Now, Some people are like, wait, I love Cad Bane. If you love Cad Bane, then get him first, or get him much sooner. You know, you could swap him with Dooku or swap him with Maul, because Cad Bane is an operative, much like Darth Maul. Now, you can run 2 operatives, but I personally find that Cad Bane has a little bit more of a learning curve to play him effectively, and I believe that he might be a little bit challenging for new players to master. So I put him a little bit farther down in the list, especially if you are following the list too. And if you got Darth Maul first, you've already got 1 operative. A lot of people don't often like to run 2 operatives in a list, because you also have to have a commander, and then you start to run out of points to be able to fill out your army. And so I feel like a lot of Legion players are going to have to choose whether they want to run Darth Maul or Cad Bane. I don't think that many people are going to run both all the time. So, so if the choice is one or the other, Maul gets you a whole extra unit. You're getting way more value, I think, out of Darth Maul. But not everybody likes melee characters. Not everybody likes lightsabers and stuff like that. So you may definitely want to go with Cad Bane much sooner. He is a bounty hunter. He's going to get to do some really cool mechanics. Like, he's a fun character to use. He gets to drop these mystery tokens. You get to play like a little guess where kind of game with your opponent when you're playing him. And he can shoot. He can shoot really good. He gets to shoot for free after he moves. He's got some very, very cool tricks. And I haven't run him enough. I want to run him more often because he has a lot of potential. But I'm more of a fan of Darth Maul, so I kind of put Darth Maul at the top, and I'm putting Cad Bane a little closer to the bottom. Again, this doesn't mean I don't think he's great. I just think the value versus when you should buy him, maybe he comes a little bit later on once you're a little bit more used to a lot of the other mechanics. Study up on him before you buy him and learn about some of the tokens that he has, because he's got a little bit of a learning curve, I think. Granted, a lot of characters do. And we have our AAT. This is coming towards the end of the list. The AAT is a beautiful, beautiful tank. It's a really good tank too. It's phenomenally good. It's super fun, and it's tremendously iconic. Tremendously iconic. I mean, and the miniature. The miniature for this thing, and it's not even a miniature, it's huge, is absolutely breathtaking. It's a gorgeous model. You're going to love everything about this. Why is it so low on my list then? Well, it's also really expensive. It's like $60, right? Like, if you're on a budget, this is probably not the first thing you're buying. But then again, if this is the unit that got you into Legion in the first place, then maybe you prioritize and you put this thing closer to the top. But for most folks, I would say hold off on spending the big bucks to get the tank. Get yourself situated first, and then get the tank when you can afford it. Because while it is beautiful, it's also very expensive. But you're gonna have a blast with this thing for sure. Literally a blast. Dad jokes. Okay. It's super fun, and I hope you love it once you get around to this one. Coming at the very end of the list, we've got basically the B1s and the droidicas. B1s first, because you may find that you have room for just one more core unit, and you want to be able to max them out. Maybe you got your 4 from your core sets, and you want to run 6, and so maybe you bought 1 B2 super battle droids, and you just weren't sure, and you just wanted to get another full unit of B1 battle droids. Sure, go for it. Sometimes people will even, like, when they get crazy, you might even buy some of these to use them as terrain for your clones or something like crushed droids and stuff like all over the place. Yeah, I mean, that might be a thing. I obviously don't recommend buying these guys just to crush them up and use them as terrain, but I have them closer to the end of the list. And then last is another unit of droidicas. You've already got 2 if you bought the 2 core sets, and then staps are also an option. I don't really see, like, again, it's a better value to be getting these in your core set as opposed to buying them individually. There's really you're not really getting any benefit here by buying them individually. It's just not cost effective. So what's next? There's a couple other things that aren't specifically Separatist expansions that I think you should look into getting also. And it depends when you are comfortable enough to want to play maybe a little bit more competitively. First thing is the upgrade card pack. Definitely look out for this one. And I know they tend to sell out of these very quick whenever they come in stock. It's only like a $10 expansion, but you're going to get a whole lot of upgrade cards for the game. This is going to include cards that maybe weren't available for the Clone Wars since the Clone Wars came out, things that maybe came out during the first 2 years of the game for the Empire and the Rebels, and that they didn't want you to say, hey, I really want to go buy that expansion so I have access to this, stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of cards in here. And this one's good for all 4 factions, whatever faction you're playing. The upgrade card pack has just a whole lot of stuff. And hopefully it won't be the last upgrade card pack. Hopefully they'll do an upgrade card pack 2 at some point and stuff like that. Because some players aren't going to want to have to buy everything just to have access to all the upgrade cards that exist. So the upgrade card pack, this came out about the same time as the Clone Wars did. It has a whole lot of stuff to get you caught up so you don't have to go back and buy old Rebel and Imperial stuff. So this is a good one to have. Also, vital assets. There are Battlefield expansions now. I've left off a lot of the Battlefield expansions off of this list because for the most part, they're just terrain. They're just little terrain pieces and stuff, and they're very expensive as far as terrain goes because I'm in the business of reviewing and building, and I'm all about terrain because terrain's a fun part of this game. And pricing out terrain. Buying terrain from FFG or for the Star Wars Legion terrain, it's expensive, and so you can get cheaper terrain elsewhere. The reason I have this particular expansion on here is because in addition to the little terrain pieces and things you're getting, they tend to match up to new cards. You're going to be getting miniatures that go along with specific objectives, deployments, and conditions, and these are really, really cool cards that are going to enhance your game. Now, you don't need this right away. When you're first getting into the game and you're playing your first couple of games, you can use the objective, deployment, and condition cards that come in the base game. That's a great way to get you started. But this particular pack brought in a whole bunch of new objective, condition, and deployments that really expand the game and keep it fresh. So, and also you're going to want to have these available to you if you ever want to play competitively as well. So definitely keep your eye out for this one when you can find it, because it's definitely going to double your gaming options as far as the different missions that you're playing. And priority supplies is another one. Now this one comes after vital assets because priority supplies only comes with one new condition, one new objective, and one new deployment. But it does have some moisture evaporators and things like that you can use with those, but are probably better used as just decorative terrain pieces also. Not as crucial, but if you're going to play competitively, they're decent missions. The moisture evaporators was a really, really common objective to be taken for a long time. And they're good cards, but you're really only getting 3 cards that are super important in this one versus way more in the other packs. So this was probably like one of the last things that you really need to get. But these are sometimes hard to find in different places because this one's been out for a long time. So if you've exhausted everything and you're looking to kind of venture into more competitive play and you want to have all of the Battlefield cards that are available, this one is one you also want to look out for. And that's going to do it for my guide. Hopefully you found this list helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. There's a new round starting for the giveaway for another $25 Amazon gift card. I have these running all the time. If you want to enter to win that, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. Also, that also gets you entered to win one of the 12 Days of Life Day giveaways. This is going to be running during the month of December. I will be giving away 12 surprise gifts. I usually announce winners at the end of my videos, so you'll have to watch all the way to the end to see if you do win. If whatever doesn't get claimed out of the 12 Days of Life Day will roll over into Patreon giveaways. So if you're a patron, you got some cool stuff to look forward to also. And and that's kind of what I have going on right now. If you want to learn more, you can check out my website, crabbok.com. I have links for lots of different things down in the description below. If you want to get to all the links I have, you can either click See More down below, or if you're on mobile, there's going to be like a little down arrow over on this side somewhere. So look for those. Check out the links. I've got links to my website. I've got links to my Discord. If you want to learn more about the game, you can jump in Discord and hop in there, interact with the community that we have there. You can also check out some merchandise if you're looking to buy some shirts or masks, like the Darth Maul one, or this awesome Bad Dice Prison. It's a bag you can use for whatever you want. You can put your chips in here for Legion, or you can put your dice in here when they have been misbehaving and put them on carbonite. You can bring them in warm, or you can bring them in cold. But yeah, so we've got all of that available. So there's lots of links down in the description. Big thanks to you guys for hanging out with me. Also, very big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I could not do this without you. So thank you for your continued support. If you're interested in becoming a patron and helping support the channel, check the links in the description below. I want to thank you all so much. Daylight savings time is terrible and needs to go away. And as always, have a great day.